Alright, hold on. Hold on. I do want to make sure that this is, working so I can, alright. This is, Jacob Cast 2024. Gonna do my Monday Night Raw review. This is February 2nd, 2026. We're gonna talk about Monday Night Raw. We'll talk about the news and rumors. This is the Fallout show from, coming out the Royal Rumble. How the show opened up with the Vision and oh, actually, wait a minute. Is this all the matches? It says here. Hold on. I'm gonna go to the entire show. Monday Night Raw. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Just let me know in the comments section below if you guys want to see more. Please subscribe to my channel. Just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. Alright. My video is sponsored by PlayStation. It's sponsored by Salamonster, Sound Off, JD from New York, Fightful Pro Wrestling. Alright. Now, as I try to talk about Monday Night Raw, talk about what happened on the show, the message, the segment, the storyline, the road to WrestleMania had begun. Now we're gonna talk about how the show opened up, and then we're gonna go through the rest of this show. LA Knight returns. Oh wait, hold on. We know we got the Vision came out. Braun Breaker was upset. They still didn't tell us who attacked them at the Royal Rumble. I guess we gotta wait for that. We did get LA Knight returns and went after the Vision. Then we got a Grande Americana versus Javon Evans. The other Grande Americano, whether Chad Gable or not, attacked the Grande Americano, which is I think a Kaiser, and Javon Evans got the victory. And then we had Gunter. He unleashed a visit beating on Dragon Lee. Obafemi. Hold on. Hold on. We did get a handicap match with Obafemi and the Viking Raiders. I mean the War Raiders. I think they said it was a 1-on-2 tornado tag. But that's a very good dominant performance. That was pretty good. That was a great Monday Night Raw debut. Even though I didn't like how he was treated in the Rumble. Now we did get Penta versus Bronson Reed. I have to wait. I actually don't have. Well, they don't have Dragon. We don't have Penta on here, so just you. Wait a minute, there we go. Now Penta defeated Bronson Reed. I think LA Knight got involved. And Penta beat Bronson Reed by countout. Bronson Reed looked like a loser. The Vision, they're going nowhere. Now we did get a pretty good segment with Liv Morgan justifying her elimination against Raquel Rodriguez. We actually had a pretty good Philly street fight with Stephanie Marquez and Raquel Rodriguez. I thought that match was pretty good. And then, without the main event, the main event segment was Roman Reigns and CM Punk, where Roman Reigns chooses to face CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship, which is surprising. I wonder if this is all a troll, or this is like, it's still pretty early. We still got like 2 months. We got like February, March, and then the middle of April. So we still got a long way to go, if this is going to happen, or if it's not. But if it did, you might as well just build up the match now. Roman Reigns and CM Punk. Yeah, so, yeah. Alright, there go Devon Evans. Owen Finley won the handicap match. Panther, he won by count out. Stephanie Rocket retained her match. Okay, yeah. Alright, so, might as well just show some of the podcasters here. Roman makes his decision. Hold on. I want to show y'all some of my podcasters here. Well, was okay. It was kind of decent. Not perfect.
It's easy for the screen to steal our time.
I'm going to show y'all some of the podcasters here. Some of my YouTuber friends here.
I hope it's not a triple threat. I hope. Yeah.
The Colt Cabana podcast reference, of course, that was the blurred line moment, right? That allows him to then do the thing. It's like, I could pick you because of this. I could pick you because of this. But I'm picking you because I hate you, bro.
Oh, that hit so hard. And I believed it, too. I believe it, too, because it's true. Roman Reigns has been talking shit on CM Punk for a while now. He did that interview, I think it was with Ariel Helwani, where he said that CM Punk was not a needle mover when they were talking about his pipe bomb and they were talking about The Rock and how CM Punk would get pissed that The Rock would be gone all year and then he would get the WrestleMania match. And Roman saying CM Punk wasn't a needle mover, that was the big, I believe it. He hates him.
Oh, I mean, like, whether he, I certainly believed it after he said it. Let me put it that way. And you're right. That there is that, I mean, the needle mover shirt. That's the one, what does it say? I have it upstairs. Tribal Chief, Champion, Mid-Carter, Jobber, right? Like, that's basically a reference to that, a play on that in a sense. And this is what they needed. I thought the Royal Rumble itself was, we've had some questionable builds and the like in the John Cena retirement tour. I've touched on how I like the unpredictability factor, but eventually you got to put your foot on the gas, and eventually you got to sell those tickets. This is what did it. That is unquestionably the match of WrestleMania now, right? Like, there's no, I don't care what.
They said it at the end. They said this is your WrestleMania main event. You can't take it back now, guys. You said it.
And there's a night 1 main event and there's a night 2 main event, but this is the main event of WrestleMania. This is what you use to promote and sell the show. This is your money feud, and you still got a ways to go. And it was important that Roman Reigns was on television tonight. Like, it was important that Roman Reigns showed up for work, as Punk would maybe say it, on this episode of Raw. And yeah, that said it all. I mean, from the second Punk's music hit to the end of the show with the executive produced by you know who. I got no notes. I got no notes on that segment.
10 out of 10, everybody. We needed this. We needed to feel like we were on the road to WrestleMania. And my hopes for this are, one, again, those promos. I want to see it get nasty between them. Like, bring up the past exactly like they did today. Go all in, man. I want to see CM Punk not hold back, by the way. I think CM Punk can fire on so many different he can fire on so many different pieces too. Like I know that Roman Reigns kind of has more to play with and more jabs to throw at CM Punk, but CM Punk can also bring up a lot. He can bring up about Roman Reigns, not being the guy for a long time and how it took him so long. I don't know. CM Punk's a smart dude. He can find some good shit to bring up, to say about Roman Reigns. Hell, bring up the time that Roman Reigns flubbed up a line when he was in the ring with John Cena. I don't know. Bring up anything just so that we can keep throwing these very nasty back and forths at each other. Like, that's what I want. And so that's what I want from, like, the story part of it, too, and for them to bring in, like, blur the lines, right? I think all of the feuds that CM Punk has had in WWE since he returned, like the real big ones, which is the Drew McIntyre one, the Seth Rollins one, and now the Roman Reigns one. Those were the biggest ones. Is that all of the guys that he's in there with, they legitimate hate. They, like, at least Seth Rollins, like, legitimately hated CM Punk from the looks of it. So it is this thing where you're always going to, right now it feels like we have these very heavy programs that can be told, and we're seeing them. So I'm very happy that this is going to be our WrestleMania main event. I know that a lot of people coming off of the Royal Rumble, they were mad. They were like, why is Roman Reigns winning the Rumble? And I kept telling everybody, I know I'm being biased, but I just want to get to this match. So right now, I feel like for the first time in a long time that WWE is catering to me. Like me, like my type of fan. This is what I wanted. This is the kind of stuff that to me feels like it's the stuff that I like. Because, there's all different types of fans. People that like certain different things. This one feels like it's for me, Robin. Feel it.
I think it's for all of us.
I know it is. It really is. Because it's good shit.
Look, why did Roman Reigns win the Royal Rumble? Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble, Denise, because when he's at the peak of his powers, he's the best in the world. And I say that, words chosen.
Be careful with those words, Robin.
But, I mean, aura. That's the aura. That's why. Because you got Roman Reigns out there, and he has real... That gets back to the point I was making at the beginning, the evolution of Roman Reigns, too. It's probably time to get rid of the OTC. Like, that's the tribal chief.
I hate the OTC stuff. I've hated it from the beginning.
Yeah, we're not battling with Solo Sikoa here. This is the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, the one who's irritated that anybody else would ever be mentioned in his orbit, and even that includes CM Punk.
I'm so happy. We got McTaro here who says this promo is effing fire! Amen, bro. Light up the chat with them lit emojis, because that's exactly what this was. Thank you, McTaro. We got IGN Sutra says, can we just skip February, March, and just get to April already, please? The fact that everyone's happy and feeling good, considering that this Raw, by the way, can I just say, the start of the Raw, like the first hour of Raw, I thought had a lot of really good segments. Second hour kind of died down. We'll break that. I think a lot of people went. I don't know if it was the stipulation or...
You could just put that on. It's just compelling. It's captivating. And we talk about crowd response and what the crowd should respond more for or not. You can't help but respond to that. We all did it. We all popped. At the beginning of the show, we're like, yeah! You got all the chats coming in because the proof is in the fucking pudding. Just like Roman said on Pat McAfee the other day. He wasn't lying. There's a...
Jump in my new EV with me. I found it on cars.com.
Take a deep breath in and exhale.
I look back on it more fondly. You always look back on things more fondly than at the time. Like, it was like in the 1995...
And the women that were in those kickboxing classes like 12 years ago, they knew who Nikki Bella and Brie Bella were. They did not know who The Undertaker was. They did not know who Brock Lesnar was. They loved Total...
We got the WrestleMania main event set up. Very strong final segment. Strong opening segment. Pretty good wrestling on the show, but it was more angle-driven than
Yeah, for one, because that's what I saw it on. Get on podcast app. And leave us a nice rating, a review. We wake up early. Larson wakes up at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Not that I want to, but that's when my body gets me up. You're
belt against the 3 people you fucked over. Sami Zayn, or the 2 people you fucked over. Sami won it, but Cody and Fatu, you screwed them, so it's going to be a fatal 4-way, right? You just do that. That's all you do. And of course, Drew will be mad, but we've seen multi-man matches for championships before, not a big deal. Plus, this does get a lot of people into technically a WrestleMania main event, assuming this even would go on last on night 1. I think it would. Some people may argue it might be time for a women's match, maybe. But based on who the champions right now are and who the challengers likely are, no, I'm sorry. I'm all for the women main eventing. No problem with that at all. But you got to base that on the strength of the matches, and I don't think that either one of those 2 women's matches would be stronger than a Drew versus Cody versus Jacob match or a 4-way or anything like that. Just my opinion. So, if that's the night 1 main event, then that gets a couple of guys in a WrestleMania main event. Sami has already been in one of these. He was in the night 1 main event at WrestleMania 39. So maybe this can be a stepping stone, much like last year was for CM Punk. CM Punk was in the night 1 main event. This year he's in the night 2 main event. Or at least we're assuming he will be. So that could be how that all shakes out in the chamber, and then you've got everything set for WrestleMania now. Now you know how everything is going to be sectioned off, where if they had Randy Orton come out here in the Gunther promo, maybe it would be a little bit too early for that. It's my thought. So after that, we cut backstage. Paul Heyman is back there with Adam Pearce, and Heyman asks Adam Pearce to make
what the Drew McIntyre match is. Oh, aren't you happy that we are at WrestleMania here for the 3rd time in 4 years? We're not getting it, and that is a good thing. Roman Reigns and Liv Morgan were your Royal Rumble winners this year. They were both on the show tonight. But we didn't get a decision one way or the other as far as Liv Morgan and what her plans are, although we got a hint. I think we all know which championship she's going to be challenging for. We had Roman Reigns in the closing segment on what I thought was an otherwise very dull show. And he comes out, and in the last 15 minutes of this show, he and CM Punk were able to single-handedly turn the ship around here and give us what we did not have for the rest of the night, which was a truly memorable segment that sold me on their match at WrestleMania. We are getting the Zebros at WrestleMania this year. It will be Roman Reigns challenging for a championship that at one time he said was nowhere near the level of the WWE title. It was little brother compared to the WWE Championship. And he also made the comment that if you wanted to add value to the championship, the way that you go about doing that is you have me challenge for it. Now he's going to have the opportunity to, because he is going to be challenging CM Punk for the big gold belt at WrestleMania this year. And as far as Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble, I made my thoughts very clear on that whole show the other night. And Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble from the perspective of someone who is part-time at best these days. We don't get to see Roman Reigns very often. To have Roman Reigns go in there and win the Royal Rumble and claim what will be a record 11th WrestleMania main event, he's going to break his own record this year in terms of WrestleMania main events. It just felt to me like, is this a situation that we want to find ourselves in, where we have someone going into the WrestleMania main event and we can't even count on the fact that we're going to have him on television in the lead up to WrestleMania? You look back to last year with John Cena, we kind of had the same problem, where Cena had a certain number of dates. So he made some appearances, but he wasn't around as much as you would like, especially in the aftermath of the heel turn. And it can really have a sour effect on the build-up and on the promotion of WrestleMania. I don't know what the future looks like over these next couple of months with Roman Reigns. I don't expect him on TV every week. But how often are we going to have him on the show between now and the middle of April? I don't know. That's my fear. Tonight was a home run. But what do the next 2 months look like, right? That remains to be seen. This is not the first time that Roman Reigns and CM Punk are going to find themselves in the ring together at WrestleMania. It was just last year. They were in the night one main event together, but there was Seth Rollins who was also thrown in there. And Seth Rollins was the one who actually walked away the winner in that match. So Punk and Roman, I mean, forget their past from many years ago in the Shield days. Neither man can claim to have a real victory over the other here. So at least this year, it does feel fresh, because one-on-one is just a totally different dynamic. The focus can be on the two of them. The focus last year was on Paul Heyman. Where does his allegiance lie? Right? Everyone was vying for the heart of Paul Heyman. That was the story going into WrestleMania this year. The story this year has nothing to do with Paul Heyman. The story is very much about the two men who are wrestling for the title and the history that the two of them have together. And that was at the heart of the promo that closed Monday Night Raw tonight. It was, in my opinion, the greatest promo of Roman Reigns' career. And it just so happened that he was in the ring with somebody who is still very much one of the best promos in all of wrestling. And you could talk about Punk's in-ring work, and he's older, and he's slower, and all of that is true. Punk, one thing that still works is the guy's mouth when he's got a microphone in the ring, right? He's still one of the best promos in wrestling. So when you're in there with him, you need to be on your A game. And we've seen some great promo stuff from Punk with Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. But we just haven't heard a lot from Roman Reigns. He needed to be in the ring with someone like CM Punk to help up his game, to have somebody to play off of. And there's a lot of history there for the two of them to play off of, and we heard that and saw that in the closing segment here. And in one promo here, we heard them talk about their history going back to the Shield days. And Punk talking about how I brought you in here when you were part of the Shield. I love going back in time and talking about how all of this came together, tying all of this history together. And then you got Roman Reigns turning around and putting it back on him and saying, you leaving 10, 11, 12 years ago, whatever it was, I guess 12 years ago now, at this point. That made my life so much harder than it needed to be. It actually made life very hard for a lot of people who had to go out there week after week and contend with chants of CM Punk during their promos and during their matches for many years. And Roman was the poster child of that, because Roman was the chosen one, and Roman was the one who was being shoved down people's throats, and there was an all-out rebellion by a certain segment of the audience who just didn't want it. They rejected it. And they rejected it in part because he wasn't CM Punk and because he wasn't Daniel Bryan, right? We can go back in the history, in the history bank and talk all about that. So I like the fact that they were drawing off a lot of their history here, and the intensity that we saw, in particular from Roman Reigns. Because Punk was doing his thing out there when things got started. But it was when Roman had the opportunity to respond and throw it right back in his face. You could see where it sort of built. It built until finally he was able to just go all out at Punk. And Punk did fine. I mean, Punk was great here. But the real highlight of this segment was Roman Reigns, who made it very clear, I don't like you. I hate you. And you talk about, following in my footsteps. He's talking about the fact that, you come back after all these years and you steal my wise men and you try to brainwash my family and you almost had me brainwashed. And there's just an intensity in his voice that we have not seen in a very long time, where he was getting viscerally angry. And they worked the Pat McAfee interview the other day into the promo. Now, I said, when I talked about Roman's comments the other day from that interview, I said, it sounded like he was mostly, in character. But there were still some things that he said in that promo that I think were valid in terms of WWE creative. There was definitely some truth laced into that little promo that he cut there. But clearly it was designed as storyline and something that they were going to bring up here on this show, especially when Punk brought up the fact that Roman was talking about, you talk about the roster needs to step up. You take your quarterly vacations. I'm being very magnanimous. I'm stepping away. I'm giving people a chance to step up. And that all came into play in the promo here tonight. But again, it's no surprise that Roman would go out there and be able to cut the best promo that I have ever heard him cut when he was face-to-face with CM Punk, who tends to bring the best out of people when they are going at it on the microphone. And we saw that in the feud with Drew McIntyre. I mean, it was the perfect foil. That's a big part of what made that whole feud so great. That and the social media stuff that Drew was doing, right? I mean, it was just on point. But it's been a while since Punk has really had someone like this, someone great like this to spar with. I would love to have more of this on the road to WrestleMania. I would love to have at least a couple more segments like this between now and mid-April, and I really hope that this is not the best that we're going to get before we get to Las Vegas. And if we can get more of this sort of thing, and if we can get more compelling segments like this, then you know what? It'll be worth it. But it's still a fear of mine that we don't know how much of Roman Reigns we are going to see. Now, there's another question here that comes along with this. Now that we know what the WrestleMania main event is going to be, there are people who will look at last year and go, well, you know, CM Punk got to headline his first WrestleMania, but that's not really the WrestleMania main event. It's night one. That doesn't count. Now, I think that's bullshit, but there are a lot of people who feel that way. I don't think you're going to need to worry about that this year, because not yet knowing what the Drew McIntyre match is going to be for the other belt, it seemed pretty clear to me watching this show here tonight what the Night 2 main event of WrestleMania is going to be. I don't think that there is a match they can do on the SmackDown side that is going to be able to, in terms of the star power that they have in this match, and then you watch this promo here, there's no match that I could think of in terms of Cody and Drew and Jacob, Cody and Drew and Jacob and Randy maybe, right? It's going to be some combination of that. And God forbid it's just another singles match between Cody and Drew, because we've had enough of those. This right here is your Night 2 WrestleMania main event. So for the first time, I expect to see the World Heavyweight Championship truly headlining a WrestleMania. Because that is typically the spot that Roman Reigns is in. Now, it wasn't last year, but typically that is the spot you would expect to find him in anyway. So that is what I expect the Night 2 match to be this year. But, you know, again, Roman telling O'Shea Jackson Jr. on his podcast last year that if you want to make the world title mean something, you have me fight for it. You know, if Roman Reigns was to go in there and win the World Heavyweight Championship, which there's certainly a possibility that it could happen, what does that look like? If Roman actually goes in there and wins the belt, how often are we going to see Roman Reigns coming out of WrestleMania? Because if Roman Reigns goes in there this year and loses at WrestleMania, that would be 3 straight WrestleManias that Roman has lost. Do we really expect to see Roman Reigns losing in 3 straight WrestleManias? That's the question. That's why I sit here and say, you know what, there's definitely the possibility that they could put that championship on him. And if we got this version of Roman Reigns more often on TV, this is what I'm talking about. The rest of this show was largely a bore. It was a bore.
And even if
until we got to the closing segment, and you see the greatness that is there if you can just find the right story to pull it out. It's this sort of thing that these television shows are missing. Now, you can't do a promo like this every single week, but this is the sort of thing that this show is lacking. And that's one of my biggest gripes about some of these big names that come in and they're not, you know, they're there for 2 weeks and they disappear for 2 months. It just drags the shows down. You know, there's a reason why they're in the spot they're in when they're not on the show. But the show is still kind of built around them. And we're watching week to week. I mean, when was the last time we had a promo segment like this? Probably going back to the Drew McIntyre CM Punk stuff, and that was 2 years ago at this point. Maybe some of the John Cena stuff last year, but it's few and far between. So that was another takeaway when I was done watching this. I'm like, man, this right here is the sort of thing that Raw desperately needs more of. Because I'm watching this promo, and as great as it is, you got the impression watching it, and it's just, they were just very good at what they did, but you got the impression watching it like, man, you know, this guy really doesn't like this guy. You know, it comes off as like this genuine hate between them, and it feels like there's some real tension there. That's what this show is lacking. This show is lacking that feeling of real tension between the different people on the show. And we got that in the closing segment. Outshined everything else that we had on this television show. Now, we had a Women's World Championship street fight. They were in Philadelphia. And the Philadelphia fans could not be bothered to give a single solitary shit about most of that match, or really a lot of different things on the show. And it was not a great match. They had a WWE-style hardcore plunder match. I feel like if you've seen one, you've seen them all. There were certain moments in the match that did not exactly go according to plan. Stephanie is still the world champion. Liv Morgan laid her out. We had that parting shot of her holding up the world title. She's going to SmackDown on Friday night to survey the WWE champion in Jade Cargill. But again, it seems pretty clear where things are going to land as far as the women's world title match at WrestleMania is concerned. How Raquel fits into that after losing tonight, that's another thing. We'll have to see how that plays out. The show started off in what I thought was a great way. I actually had high hopes when this show came on the air tonight because they had this cold open with Braun Breaker just going absolutely fucking nuts. After what happened at the Rumble, I'm like, again, this is the sort of thing we need to see more of on this show. You know, they're stepping outside their comfort zone here in the way they open things, and it gave me hope. And then I saw the rest of the show up until the closing 15 minutes, and I was like, oh, okay. Psych. They faked me out because what we got, again, was very uninspired, but we didn't get any sort of further clarity on the whole masked man angle from the Royal Rumble. They're going to drag that out as long as they possibly can. Obafemi still has not made his decision on where he's going to land. The story is that both general managers are just tripping over themselves trying to sign him, as they should. What they did with him tonight was very curious. I would be very worried if I were the people that were in the ring with him. So we're going to talk about that. And the other things that happened on this show, not a whole hell of a lot, but we're going to talk about it. This is your Raw on Netflix review. It is the post-Royal Rumble edition of Raw. It is Groundhog Day. 2026, I am the Solemn Monster. Yeah, I didn't even check. I thought I saw that the groundhog saw his shadow. That furry little fucker. I think that means 6 more weeks of winter. Just what we need. But if I'm wrong, let me know. I think he saw his shadow, though. So that sucks. Like and subscribe. Super chats are open. We have a bonus goal going on in the chat. I'll be reading all of your messages as we go along here in the stream a little bit later on. And the Ultimate Rumble Pool. If you participated in our Royal Rumble Pool in the private group on Facebook, I think there, God, how many pools were there? 38, 39? We had over 1,100 people, well over 1,100 people participate. So if you did, thank you. Shout out to Julian Cannon for putting all that together. He sent me a list of all the winners at this hire. All right. Heyman said that this was all Adam Pearce's fault. All with chair shots. It's great. I would say that he's got a beating coming, but that would require them.
Introducing the Score Bet for Sunday, Monday, or any day that ends in Y. We're with you every game day.
Philadelphia Street Fight for the WWE Women's World Championship, and they changed Stephanie's music. Was there a need to change Stephanie's music? It wasn't even good to begin with. That's how you do it. Big time feel, big time match. Very much fucking hated, by the way. It wasn't fake reacting. It was fucking awful. And it's still awful. I actually went back and watched my own clip and laughed at myself several times. Hopefully you guys got some enjoyment out of that. We did almost 700,000 views of that clip on YouTube, almost 6,500 likes, maybe more than that, on X, another 70,000 or so on TikTok. You guys absolutely killed it. Absolutely killed it. And to top it off, we made the top 20 on the pro wrestling charts here in the United States for iTunes and Spotify, man. Another round of applause for that. Guys killed it. Top 20, man, in the United States on iTunes and Spotify. Shout out to all my audio listeners. Keep that energy up, man. I'd love to break the top 15. I know we can do it. Like I said, it is going to be a great year, and it's going to be a great month. And if you don't trust me, you better get on board now, because when I say what I say here, I always back it up. Always. So make sure you guys keep a very close eye on what's happening this month. Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw in Philadelphia. Philadelphia was very... I don't want to say they were the most energetic crowd tonight. Maybe they're starting to realize that the Phillies are going to finish in second place this year and not first, because the Braves are going to take the division. I don't know. Now that I said that, I probably just cursed the entire season, and Acuna would be out for the year come April. Watch. Anyway, Philadelphia wasn't the most exciting crowd. I thought they were rather lifeless tonight in some aspects of the show. It didn't really make for a very energetic, very fun Monday Night Raw. I wish WWE would stop the slow burn in some aspects to their television show and really just kind of forward some shit and really start taking some chances. I know the show got started off in a very peculiar way because they usually do a lot of what they usually do, showing everybody walking into the building and whatnot. Braun Breaker held the show hostage after getting eliminated in 3 seconds at the Royal Rumble due to a masked man that we probably will not find out who it is until Triple H deems us ready. So he held the show hostage tonight, and he wanted Adam Pearce. I said this Saturday, I'm going to say it again. I am not interested in a Braun Breaker-Adam Pearce match at WrestleMania. Now, I doubt that's the match because they'd have to be fucking absolutely out of their minds crazy to put Adam Pearce in the ring with Braun Breaker for his WrestleMania match. So I'm hoping low-key that the masked man is eventually going to be revealed as Seth Rollins. And that is going to be Braun Breaker's WrestleMania match. Nothing else makes sense. Unless they're starting to kick out Braun Breaker from within and we don't really know it yet, which would basically be the same story as they're probably telling with the Judgment Day. I don't know if somebody is within the Vision disguising themselves as the masked man and trying to take out Braun Breaker. Social media seems to have figured it out. They are pointing the finger of blame at Logan Paul for being the masked man. Maybe Logan Paul's the masked man. Maybe Logan Paul versus Braun Breaker is the WrestleMania match. I would find that to be fucking boring, but I don't know. I really wish they went somewhere with it. They tried. It was a chaotic start to the show, but they didn't really give you any new information. They didn't divulge any new information. All we know is that Braun Breaker holds one of the shortest records in Royal Rumble history for an elimination. And if you're going to go and do that and put his name in the record books, man, there better be a fucking payoff. There better be a payoff. We didn't get any closer to an answer tonight, so what they did was different. What they did was give Braun Breaker some of his edge back, which they certainly needed to do after his elimination at the Royal Rumble, but they didn't really answer any questions. They didn't really forward anything. So it's another week where something happens, but it remains the same. And I understand a lot of people were like, oh man, that was a great segment. It was a very good segment. It just didn't do anything. It didn't forward anything. We don't have any more answers than we did on Saturday. If you're going to hold a Fallout show, and you're going to have a show following what you did on Saturday, you at least got to give me some fucking answer, something. They didn't give me anything. It's another week where nothing happens. Something happens, but then nothing happens at the same time. The big story tonight is Roman Reigns. I didn't think Roman Reigns was going to come to Monday Night Raw and immediately pick his opponent for WrestleMania. I've been telling you for weeks. If you guys have been watching me, I've been telling you for weeks. This is not a secret. Okay? Roman Reigns and Liv Morgan were my picks to win the Royal Rumble for weeks. I told you, and that's exactly what happened. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't use a magic 8-ball. Only losers use magic 8-balls because they don't want to predict anything. I don't understand how you look at Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble coming out of Saturday and you get excited about it. I don't know. I don't understand those people. Especially when you got Triple H going on the post show and saying that this is going to be the start of a new era. Motherfucker, this is not the start of a new era. This is basically Triple H using these hype words and these buzzwords to get a reaction. You know what's going to get a reaction, Paul? If you book a good show. Do you know what's going to get a reaction, Paul? If you get with the fucking program and get some decent people on your writing team to give us some captivating, interesting television with progression. Jey Uso yeeting in the Royal Rumble while we miss Brock Lesnar's elimination is not what I call storyline progression. It's fucking pathetic. have a problem choosing Roman Reigns, winning the Royal Rumble. It wasn't my first choice. It would never be my first choice. We've been there, done that. The guy has a cozy schedule, and it gets cozier every single year. He wrestled how many matches last year? 6? How many appearances did he make? Probably on the level of Brock Lesnar appearances at this point. We should not be putting the title back on Roman Reigns. We should not be thinking about going back to a part-time champion. Coming into tonight, I had a good feeling he was going to choose CM Punk. Coming into tonight, I was hoping he picked Drew McIntyre. Because there's a story there. Some of you might not know, but there's a story there. Once upon a time, Drew McIntyre was the bloodline hunter. He wanted to take out everybody that basically wronged him. And the bloodline certainly wronged him. And then the bloodline and CM Punk get together inside War Games a couple years ago. And Drew McIntyre wanted to take out everybody that basically was siding with CM Punk. So it was a recipe for disaster. McIntyre was going to eradicate all of them. And we started to see that. And then we didn't. Right after that, I was like, McIntyre Reigns, that's my WrestleMania match. Last year, that was my WrestleMania match. That should have been the WrestleMania match. McIntyre instead got Damian Priest. And instead Reigns, he got Rollins and Punk in a triple threat match, which ended up being the match of the year last year. I was hoping he would pick McIntyre because I feel like Punk and Cody is the bigger match. I feel like that is the bigger match. When you talk about what's the bigger match, Punk or Reigns or Punk and Cody, I think Punk and Cody's the bigger match. You may think differently. I don't give a shit. Punk and Cody was my WrestleMania match. And Cody mentioned Punk. And I'm assuming he mentioned Punk, maybe not for this year, but they're eventually going to do it. It may happen if Cody goes heel, which would be even sweeter. But Cody mentioned Punk on Friday. You know, we're gonna eventually have to do this. We're gonna dance eventually. There's gonna come a time where we can't avoid it anymore. So Reigns showed up on Monday, tonight, in the main event, in the closing segment. He did his acknowledge me shtick. Philadelphia was happy to see him. And then he asked the crowd to participate because he needed help choosing a WrestleMania opponent. Almost everybody booed Drew McIntyre, and almost everybody cheered CM Punk. So then when you hear that type of reaction, if you're the World Heavyweight Champion, out comes CM Punk. We'll go over exactly what they said to each other a little bit later in the show. But my first reaction, my first review of what they did in that closing segment, I don't want to use the word the cool kids are using, cinema. I'm not going to use that word. That's how you build a fucking match. I wasn't interested in Reigns winning the Royal Rumble, especially after he went on Pat McAfee's show claiming that the WWE hasn't created any new stars, and there he is, standing tall in the Royal Rumble as the 2026 Men's Royal Rumble winner, while eliminating fucking Gunther of all people, which should have never been anybody else. The company hasn't created any new stars since he lost the WWE Championship to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40. He claimed he stepped away so that everybody else could step up. He walked away and went part-time so that others could share in his spotlight. Meanwhile, WWE, if you look at the trajectory of the company coming out of WrestleMania 40, they've been this way, creatively. Business-wise, they've been this way. Creatively, they've been this way. They haven't created one new star, not one. Gunther is the closest thing to Triple H and this administration having their own star. Braun Breaker's not a star. They stifled the fuck out of him. Ilya Dragunov's not a star. Carmelo Hayes is not a star. Obafemi, Trick Williams just got called up to the main roster. They may be in line to be future stars. Trick Williams, he's going to be a next big thing here. Javon Evans, I have a lot of promise for Javon Evans. Stephanie Vicaire, they've dropped the ball on her. Does anybody feel like a legitimate star? No. No, Gunther's the closest thing to Triple H owning a star in his administration. And he's using the retirement angle of him retiring Goldberg and John Cena and now AJ Styles. Nobody has been able to follow Roman. A lot of that falls on Triple H. He has not done a good job. So Roman says, yeah, there's no new stars. He says that on Pat McAfee's show slightly in his Tribal Chief character, and then goes and wins the Royal Rumble. Gee, I wonder why there's no new stars. Because the company, just like in the Vince administration, in Triple H administration, they are resting on their already made stars. They are afraid. I don't understand why the company's so afraid. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? You do realize that if you take a talent and you write for them, and you give them something with meaning, and you give them proper storytelling, and you give them the type of creative that is going to create their star, what is there to be afraid of? You'll have the next Roman Reigns in 1 to 2 years easy. You're going to have to get on board eventually. Why do they wait? Is it because the shareholders and Mark Shapiro and Nick Khan and Ari Emanuel and all these other fucking faceless suits and ties who don't give a fuck about anything but the money? Are you worried about what they're going to think? Are you worried that fans are not going to show up? Are you worried that the ticket sales will be going this way instead of going this way? I don't think the company understands their own fan base. If you create the star, people will come out to see the star. There are a lot more people now than there were last year who want to see new. If Obafemi won the Royal Rumble, there wouldn't be a fucking peep from anybody. Not one. Do you want to know why? Because the company would have taken a chance, the company would have rallied behind their future of the company in Obafemi, and it would have been different. It wouldn't have been Roman Reigns, it wouldn't have been Cody Rhodes, it wouldn't have been Brock Lesnar, it wouldn't have been anybody that the company usually pushes. It wouldn't have been somebody the fans expect. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? WWE's got this illusion that it's got to be big. It's got to be big. You hold the power. You hold the keys. You could make whatever you want big. You could do whatever you want and make it big. It doesn't have to be the same shit that we see every single year. It doesn't gotta be, well, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has main evented WrestleMania more than anybody in the fucking show's history. Would it kill you to not put him in the fucking main event? The company doesn't take chances. The company does not take chances. And that's their problem. Now, with that said, Roman Reigns, I don't know what his future is. I don't know what he plans to do or how long he plans to do this. We don't need to see another World Championship title run from Roman Reigns. We don't. But Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble, showing up tonight on Monday Night Raw in Philadelphia, and showing CM Punk how to build a fucking match, while Punk went at Roman Reigns and basically laid the fucking gauntlet down, almost teasing him not to pick him, which made him choose him anyway. This is one of the biggest matches that the company could possibly do. There's not many of them remaining. The only other one that I feel they could possibly do is Cody and CM Punk. That's really it. I don't know when they're eventually going to get on board with the future. I don't know when we're going to see a WrestleMania with the new blood at the top. It needs to happen sooner rather than later. But Roman Reigns and CM Punk is legitimately one of the only matches big enough that the company has left at their disposal. Because like I said, we don't know how long Roman Reigns has as a WWE superstar. We don't know how long CM Punk has. He says he'll go until at least 50. At least. As long as that man can still go, I'm happy to have him on television. He's more valuable than a lot of people. But this is the WrestleMania main event. You either love it or you don't. Now, after tonight, I'm not immediately in love with it. I'm not sold with it. I expected it. But man, if you give me the proper story and you give me weeks of television that are meaningful to both guys and they get their shit in and they build this thing correctly, then I will be very excited about it. Tonight was step one. What they did tonight was a masterclass in selling this WrestleMania match. What they did was show everybody in the back, that's how you build a WrestleMania match. Not only did they get on each other's nerves, and this is coming out of a War Games match where Roman Reigns and CM Punk looked to be pretty friendly with each other. Even after everything that happened at WrestleMania last year. All it took was CM Punk being a master troll. And all it took was for Roman Reigns to get angry at CM Punk over the things that he said, and he really let his truth be heard. He's choosing CM Punk not because of anything else, but the fact that he hates CM Punk. There you got it. You know, you use the word hate in any context, it's a very powerful word. Roman Reigns used the word hate for CM Punk. I mean, that fuse was lit, and now it is burning towards WrestleMania. That's a powerful word. That's a word big enough to get people excited. That's a word big enough to sell this story from stage one. And I thought what they did was tremendous. It was easily, by far and away, the best thing about tonight's show. Like, I could watch these two guys go at it for 30 minutes. Hopefully we get more of that. Now, how many times is Roman Reigns going to appear on television? From now until WrestleMania. I mean, this could be one of 3 appearances for him across the next 2 months. We don't know. The guy takes more vacations than fucking anybody. Roman's going to need to be visible. Roman's going to need to wrestle. We need Roman on television. I hope. I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt because they have not done what they've needed to do. But I hope that they got a couple more tricks up their sleeve and that this wasn't it. I certainly hope they have more in the fucking tank, and I hope they didn't exhaust all of their creative in this one promo because Punk is going to move on to Finn Balor. Now, as long as the match is made, we'll disappear for a little bit and we'll come back in March and build towards WrestleMania when we get done with the Elimination Chamber. That's how you sell a match. That's how you sell a big money match. That's how you sell a WrestleMania main event. And that's how you get everybody on board with what you're doing. I said it on Twitter. A lot of the young kids are going to look at what those two guys did in that ring tonight and study that shit for years to come. How do I build a major match? Just look at what CM Punk and Roman Reigns did. Not many people are going to have their history. His history is very vast, very deep. But that's how you sell a fucking big money match. That's how you sell a WrestleMania match. That was easily the best thing of tonight's show. Outside that, I can't really pinpoint any other portion of the show that I liked. The Bellas returned. Got a major problem with that. I'll tell you what that is. Stephanie Vicaire and Raquel Rodriguez, they had a Philadelphia street fight for the WWE Women's World Championship. And they changed Stephanie's music. Was there a need to change Stephanie's music? It wasn't even good to begin with, but you somehow made it worse. Penta went one-on-one with Bronson Reed. Braun Breaker started the show in a very chaotic way. No masked man. Now we got Obafemi debuting tonight against a tag team. I don't know who enjoyed Obafemi destroying a credible tag team, what am I watching? Ryback? What am I watching? Braun Strowman? Is there any shred of creative in the creative team? This is a very Vince-like debut for Obafemi. I don't like it. And Javon Evans wrestled El Grande Americano #2, and we saw a return of the original El Grande Americano. I don't know what they're doing, but Chad Gable needs to be on TV. Certainly. We'll get into this Monday Night Raw post show. Thank you very much for joining me here on this Monday night. It is Monday, February 2nd, 2026. Thank you guys very much for all your support. Like I said, a big week, man. Big week. 77,000 views on the Royal Rumble post show. We reached the top 20 on iTunes and Spotify for pro wrestling podcasts in the United States. We're amongst some pretty cool company. And we're one of the only that this was all Adam Pearce's fault. That you wait. You need to give me who the guy is, what he wants, and what happens next. You need to do it. We can't wait till the chamber. We can't wait for weeks. The masked man, whoever that is, needs to be revealed soon. And whatever comes next needs to happen soon. Luckily, they gave us Austin Theory, and they didn't wait on it when he was the masked man showing up at the War Games pay-per-view, Survivor Series. We cannot wait till the Elimination Chamber. Maybe that's what they plan to do. It wouldn't be Triple H's first time with someone getting eliminated while the Elimination Chamber door remains open. I could see Triple H revealing that man to be Rollins inside the chamber while Braun Breaker gets another shot at the WrestleMania main event. But now that Roman shows CM Punk, Braun Breaker's focus isn't on CM Punk anymore, nor should it be. Maybe it still can be, but I don't think WWE is going to switch the WrestleMania main event around from CM Punk and Roman Reigns to CM Punk and Braun Breaker. They need to do something quick. Braun Breaker should not be sitting with this hanging over his head. The reconstruction, the build, the revenge of Braun Breaker needs to be had. You can't do something like you did on Saturday night at the Royal Rumble and just wait on it. Javon Evans. He went one-on-one with El Grande Americano. This match felt weird. Now, I don't know if WWE was having production problems because Braun Breaker destroyed the commentary table in the beginning of the show. But there was a very audible silence from the commentary team. I don't know if it was due to Braun Breaker destroying the table. I don't know if they got a miscue and they were supposed to go to commercial and they did not. I legitimately thought I was watching Netflix with no commercials at one point. Like, there was a very, very odd silence for about a good 12 seconds where Corey Graves and Michael Cole didn't say a fucking word. The crowd felt disinterested, the commentary team was quiet, and they felt disinterested. Like, I get it.
I'm sure your season's over. Hey, silver lining, no more stress watching.
This match didn't go the way that they wanted last week. Javon Evans got quote-unquote hurt, so they stopped the match as a precautionary. So they're running it back now. Very weird to start this match. So it went about 13 minutes, and Javon Evans got the win here, thanks to the original El Grande Americano, Chad Gable. So Evans' shoulders and ribs were taped. I think last week it was the shoulder that he got hurt on, and then the ribs were taped up because of what happened inside the Royal Rumble. He was F5'd by Brock Lesnar, and he lasted 40 minutes. So Javon Evans was the Iron Man of the Royal Rumble. El Grande took over after Javon hit him with a stinger splash. Evans came right back, hit a crazy leaping dive to the outside, flying basically over El Grande Americano. So he hit hard on the outside. Evans was distracted by Ryo, Pete Dunne. If you guys are not aware, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate are on the outside. So El Grande nailed a dropkick on the apron. He lawn darted him into the ring post. And El Grande Americano had control of the match as we go to a commercial break. This is where it was really dull. It was very, very bizarre, very quiet, just kind of unenthusiastic as we went into the first commercial. Evans fought back with some chops after the commercial, some forearms, some kicks, a big satellite DDT. Evans fought out of a submission hold with El Grande lying on the other side of the ring. Evans went to the top and hit a senton leg drop all the way to the other side. So it wasn't a coast to coast, but it almost looked like a coast to coast. Ryo distracted the referee, allowing Bravo to trip Evans up off the top rope. Sure, here, going into wrestling, get the fuck out of here, man. Give me a break with the fucking buzzwords, please. You can cut that shit right out. He claimed that he had discussions with AJ, and from what he gathered, AJ is really finished. Really finished. I genuinely wonder if WWE is going to give him some sort of Legends contract so he doesn't wrestle anywhere and really pay him handsomely. I'm genuinely curious to see what they're doing with AJ Styles, what they're offering him, what they're paying him to not wrestle. If we are to believe Triple H and AJ Styles is not wrestling anywhere else, they got to be paying him. That's basically WWE paying him so that he doesn't go to Jacksonville and wrestle for AEW. Because you know that Tony Khan is legitimately, by the phone, slobbering all over that fucking rotary phone in his offices at Jacksonville. You physically hear the droplets of fucking saliva hitting the phone as he drools over the thought of getting AJ Styles in the ring with Kenny Omega, or MJF, or Will Ospreay, or Adam Page, or Swerve Strickland. WWE's never going to allow that to happen. Ever. Ever. We all thought that AJ losing, he'd go on some sort of worldwide AJ Styles retirement tour, international. Wrestle for New Japan, wrestle for AEW, wrestle for TNA. Who's stopping him? If he's no longer contractually binded to WWE, what's actually stopping him? Then we got Peter Rosenberg. He went out there as well and said, publicly, he spoke to AJ Styles, and that from what he gathered after the discussion he had with AJ is that he's really finished. Now, I don't know why we would believe both of these guys, but if we are to believe both of these guys, then AJ Styles is retired. If not, AJ worked the shit out of both Triple H and Peter Rosenberg, which would be hilarious. Yes, I agree. MJF versus AJ Styles, take my fucking credit card, my debit card, and everything in my right now for Gunther's career killer gimmick to work. Is there anybody else that is going to just hang up the boots randomly so we can add another name to his list?
You don't decide.
Or are they setting a career killer versus legend killer match up for WrestleMania?
You don't decide.
Because I think Randy Orton has a lot of respect for John Cena. I think Randy Orton has a lot of respect for AJ Styles. So if there's going to be somebody that steps up to Gunther, why don't you try a legend killer on for size? You think you're creating your own legend. You want to go by the moniker of career killer. Well, how about a legend killer takes out the career killer before he does any more damage? I could see it. I could see it. Because it looks like we're going to get... It looks like we're going to get Cody, Drew McIntyre, and Jacob Fatu in some sense at WrestleMania, being that they just announced Punk and Roman. Now, they certainly could do Cody winning the championship back from Drew McIntyre before we even get to WrestleMania. They could do it. I don't want to say that it's a definite that McIntyre's walking into Mania. It's not a definite. He should, but it's not a definite. They could take the belt off of Drew McIntyre, put it back on Cody Rhodes. Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre could have a one-on-one match at WrestleMania. And Cody Rhodes could defend the WWE Championship against Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Now, I don't know which direction they're going to go.
They did say guilty
Randy
on state
versus Gunther is an idea. Cody versus Randy is still on the table. The rumor is Randy, not in the WWE title picture, but the rumor is Cody and McIntyre, along with Jacob Fatu, in a triple threat match at WrestleMania.
Some of us are very confused.
So I don't know what happens there. Then I don't know if Obafemi gets Brock Lesnar. I don't know what Brock Lesnar's doing at WrestleMania. I can't see Brock Lesnar not working WrestleMania. I don't know. It's a very interesting way how they're working this WrestleMania card. I don't think all the pieces are where they need to be yet. But this was a great segment. Gunther needs to be this from this point on. Enough of the laughing, enough of the fucking throwing bitch around like everybody else. He needs to be violent. He needs to now just go out there and kill people. This was great. We saw a replay of Bronson Reed and Logan Paul taking out LA Knight 2 months ago when Bronson Reed gave him a tsunami on the top of a car. We go into a backstage segment here with Paul Heyman approaching Adam Pearce and asked him to make him a match tonight with Braun Breaker going one-on-one with LA Knight. Adam Pearce said no. Good. How many times have we seen that before? We don't need to see it again. I'm glad we didn't get it. I don't want to see LA Knight battling any of these guys, period. He did what he needed to do. He got the sneak attack tonight. He eliminated both Austin Theory and Bronson Reed from the Royal Rumble. That's enough. That's enough. Pierce didn't appreciate Breaker interrupting his show, so I'm not giving him a match tonight. Bro, Obafemi destroyed the War Raiders in a match that was scheduled, which ended up being a non-match. This was a non-match. This wasn't even an official match. The bell didn't ring. He didn't get a W on his win-loss record after tonight. Obafemi still hasn't debuted on Monday night. But we were told that Obafemi would be making his Raw debut. How do you look at this and say this was great? Once upon a time, Vince McMahon gave you the debut of Ryback and the debut of Braun Strowman. And Braun Strowman was notorious for defeating tag teams. Braun Strowman beat, at one point, I don't remember what Raw it was, bro, Braun Strowman beat the entire Monday Night Raw tag team division in one fucking match. Do you genuinely expect me to watch this and give it a thumbs up? Bro, I don't give a fuck what you think of the War Raiders. I don't give a shit what you think of the tag team division. The fact that you got no tag team division and you just threw the War Raiders out there, who are still credible, mind you, because they're a great fucking tag team. Once upon a time, they were fucking unbelievable. I don't want to hear that they're not credible. It's alright, they're jobbers. Fuck off. Fuck off. You want to make Obafemi stand out? This is the type of guy where enhancement matches work wonders. Get someone in there that's got a decent following and get him in there against Obafemi. I'm not saying let's fucking have him go out there and decimate everybody. Bro, you can't throw him out there against top tier guys yet. This is the main roster. This isn't NXT. At one point or another, he was doing the same thing down in NXT. He was working against fucking low-level guys. Then moved up to the main roster. But destroying your tag team division that's already fucking dead even more is not the right way to go about it. I did not like this debut for Obafemi. Like, you and I both know, everybody knows what Obafemi's capable of. We didn't need him to destroy the War Raiders to figure out how good Obafemi is and how powerful Obafemi is and how dominant Obafemi is. He was in the fucking Royal Rumble for 40 minutes. We didn't need him to destroy the War Raiders. What you should be doing is fixing your tag team division and not throwing one guy out there to beat the guys like the War Raiders, the size of Ivar. Oh, but he's Ivar. He's a big guy. Look at how Obafemi handled him. Bro, irresponsible. Irresponsible. The more we move on away from Vince McMahon, the more some of his ideas and ideologies remain. Guarantee you this was a approved match and segment by Triple H, but was the brainchild of one Bruce Pritchard. Oh, look! He looks like Braun Strowman. Let's throw him out there against a tag team that we don't give a fuck about. Irresponsible. You should not be mishandling your talent that way to throw out two guys like War Raiders out there against one guy like Obafemi. It's fucking irresponsible. You break.
If you're an illegal alien, this runway is your future because you're headed home. I'm Christine Ohm, the United States.
Something that they switched around mid-show. Femi entered, he destroyed both guys, he gave Ivar a chokeslam, and he gave Eric the fall from Grace powerbomb. And then Femi posed as the fans chanted, Oba! Finn Balor. We got a video promo from Finn Balor saying, this was a business based on respect. Yeah, tell that to Ivar and Eric. He always gave respect in the indies and on the main roster. But he was realizing that respect was not returned to him. He was taken for granted over and over and over again. What happened in Belfast was not a one-off. He's been showing up and showing off his entire career, but Pierce still tried to tell him the Rumble was full. It turns out respect only gets you so far. Balor wanted the world title. He didn't think of himself as a bad guy, but warned CM Punk he was willing to do bad things. Looks like we're getting Balor versus Punk at the Elimination Chamber. I guess we'll find out what exactly is really going on. I'm assuming we're going to get some sort of championship match between Balor and Punk. We just don't know if it's going to be a one-on-one, or if CM Punk is going to put the World Heavyweight Championship on the line inside the Elimination Chamber, and Balor's going to be one of those guys. Adam Pearce could very well have Finn Balor come out next week and have to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. We don't know. But he wants the World Championship, and he wants CM Punk. Now, I know a lot of people are wondering, well, why does he want CM Punk? Why are they booking this match? The match is basically, honestly, it is a filler for CM Punk. It is something for him to do in the middle of the Rumble and WrestleMania. They got to give him something to do. They can't have Roman on TV for 9 straight, 10 straight weeks to sell this match now. So they got to keep CM Punk busy by doing this mid-level work, because Roman's got to go take another 5 weeks off before he decides to come back to television. This is a filler feud. And basically the entire premise of this feud is not to get Finn Balor into championship contention. It's to get Finn Balor out of the Judgment Day. That's the whole reason for this feud. Balor was very easy to show respect to CM Punk. Whether that was Belfast, Ireland or not, he showed respect to CM Punk. CM Punk put him over. CM Punk gave him a championship match. Finn Balor only acted because Liv Morgan basically got in his face asking him what the fuck happened. So the way that I look at it, Liv Morgan put Finn Balor up to attacking CM Punk, even though Finn Balor might not have wanted to attack CM Punk. He wanted to prove a point that Liv Morgan was wrong. But in the end, Finn Balor's not going to win the World Championship. Liv Morgan's going to go on to win the World Championship. Dominic Mysterio's the IC champion. The Judgment Day is going to look really, really different after WrestleMania. So this isn't about the World Championship. It's about getting Balor out of the Judgment Day. And getting Balor from heel to babyface. And getting Balor, I think, in a match against Dominic Mysterio at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. And if it takes another match between Balor and Punk to get there, which was great in the first place, I don't really have a problem with it. The return of the Bella Twins.
Yeah, but boring.
Who asked for this?
No one knew it was shit. Boring.
The crowd was chanting something that sounded like they were booing, but they weren't. Nikki Bella's in the ring, along with her sister Brie, and asked if that was to the Eagles not making it to the
Yeah.
Super Bowl. Brie said they were probably saying "coop," and Nikki bragged that she has good taste. He's a Pro Bowler after all. I guess she really is. She just confirmed that she's dating Cooper Dijon. Dijon mustard over there. I'm sorry, geeks in the chat, if your heart is broken, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Nikki Bella is now off the market. I wish the Bella Twins were off this fucking show. Nikki Bella said the Bella Twins haven't appeared on Raw together in over 7 years. Nikki shared everyone's excitement that Brie was back. There were light yes chants in Philadelphia, not as heavy as it was in Saudi Arabia. But Brie was happy to be back home. She joked that she didn't return because Nikki was getting her ass kicked every week. She returned because they were the original tag team. The division was better than ever, and they wanted in. It was time for the Bella Twins to go after the Tag Team Championships. I have a very serious question, chat. I wonder if somebody can fill me in here. Or maybe I shouldn't be complaining about this because I complain about everything, says the IWC. But I gotta make people look stupid here. You know, everybody's excited to see Brie and Nikki Bella back. Maybe some of you. Most of us aren't. I don't know who asked for this. We may legitimately be looking at the Bella Twins getting a tag team title match at WrestleMania. This is where we're going, folks. This is what you've asked for. This is what you've created now, you see? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Nikki Bella a heel before the Royal Rumble? Yes? Wasn't Nikki Bella a heel? Didn't she turn heel legitimately about a month ago, a month and a half ago? Didn't she just have a program with Stephanie McCare over the Women's World Championship as a heel? I remember her turning on Stephanie McCare, right? And people are in the crowd, oh man, the Bellas are back. People are crying. People are happy. Yet I'm asking, wasn't she a heel a month and a half ago? All of a sudden we dropped it. Now it doesn't mean anything. Now it doesn't matter. All because Brie Bella's back now, we get to cheer them and do some fucking yes chants that were never hers to begin with, and the only reason why people do it is because of who she's fucking married to. Tell me when I am telling any lies here.
Exactly. Shit booking.
She was a heel.
Yeah.
Is WWE this careless with how they produce television? One week they do something, and all of a sudden the other sister comes back, and I'm supposed to forget that Nikki Bella was fucking booed 3 weeks ago. Heel today, face tomorrow. It doesn't matter. We just wasted all of your fucking time. You took minutes of my Mondays by putting this woman on TV, attacking Stephanie, turning on Stephanie, match with Stephanie twice. For what? For what? So that we could do fucking mild yes chants? Yes, that's all we fucking need. if The Miz wasn't bad enough. Otis. Him and Tozawa are talking to some Netflix comedian, Brett Kreischer. Maxine Dupree interrupted the segment. Otis said it was good seeing this.
Alright, Mike will end the video. Until next time, I'll see y'all later. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll see y'all later. Until next time.